Today I decided it was time to show you my new obsession. Well, I say new. I've been doing this for quite a few months now, but I finally decided it was time to show you what it is. So if you like sourdough and if you like English muffins, put those two things together and you are going to come out with the best English muffin you have ever had. Now be careful, because it may come to a point where you can no longer handle eating the store-bought ones. You're only going to want to make your own homemade English muffins. And the great thing about this is you can add things to it, add inclusions. Think of sun-dried tomatoes and basil, garlic, and whatever combinations of flavors that you like, you can probably throw in these English muffins. I'm just going to show you a plain version for now, but the sky's the limit when it comes to inclusions. It's so easy and so simple to make. I find this a lot easier actually than making bread. So I also have to make bread, but I'm going to start by showing you the English muffins. So let's dive in. I am going to be adding all these ingredients to the bowl of my stand mixer. This is what I make it on, my stand mixer. I do mix by hand all the ingredients because I don't find the stand mixer really gets into the sides with the dough hook. So I first do a really rough stir of all the ingredients together and then put it on my stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can still do this by hand. You just will have to do a little bit more stirring and maybe a little bit of kneading. But if you have a stand mixer, it does all the work. And even at that, it's not a lot of work. So my milk is just about warm. So to your stand mixer, you're going to add your 720 grams of warm milk, 300 grams of your fed starter. So as you can see, mine has more than doubled. So I'm adding 300 grams. And then 60 grams of honey. And then just give everything here a mix. Again, you can do this on your stand mixer if you prefer. Just takes a second to do by hand. And now we add 1,080 grams of flour. And finally, 15 grams of salt. And I just give this a rough stir, just enough to incorporate the ingredients before moving it over to my stand mixer. And that's enough work. I'm going to scrape this clean and let the machine do the rest of the work. Put the dough hook. And you don't want this to mix too quick, so you're just going to kind of put this on a low speed to slowly incorporate for a few minutes. Once your dough looks like this, you're going to let it rest for about 30 minutes. So what I do is I kind of lower the bowl and I just cover it for 30 minutes just because I don't want it to dry. I cover my bowl with this. And I just leave it just like that for 30 minutes. And when we come back in 30 minutes, we'll just give it another stir for 2 to 3 minutes again, and then we just let it rest. 30 minutes have elapsed. I do try to scrape down the sides just a little bit. And then you're going to put it on again at a low speed for another 2 to 3 to 4 minutes. You can really see the difference, like the sides of the bowls are a lot cleaner. So I'm going to say that this is done. So now we're going to just remove the dough hook. And you can see it's a pretty stiff dough. Now here comes the hard part. You're going to cover this, and that's it. So we cover our dough, and I'm going to remove it from the mixer so I can put it away, but we cover our dough, we let it set 6 to 8 hours, and you're going to know it's going to be done because it's really going to rise up. So as you can see, there's like, it's like not even half of my bowl, but it's going to go over the bowl, especially since I've tripled the recipe. So you'll know when it's risen enough, somewhere around 6 to 8 hours, depending on how warm it is, the time of the year that you're doing this. And once it's risen, you just put it in the fridge. And you just put it in the fridge overnight. And the next day, that's when you shape your not bagels, but that's when you shape your English muffins and to let them rise to cook. So, but here's the thing, which is great about English muffins. They're very forgiving. I have made these and not done them the next day for life getting busy or not having time, so they have stayed 2 nights in the fridge, and the only thing that I could notice that was different is that they had even more flavor. They were even a little bit more tangy. They weren't overproofed. The texture was the same. They were still the same great English muffins with just a little bit more flavor to them. So it's very forgiving compared to bread. So now we're going to put this aside until it rises and until it goes from this to this. And now we put it in the fridge. It's the next morning. It's a little early. Look at how my English muffins are looking this morning. So let me show you now how I roll these out into balls. So I individually measure each English muffin somewhere between 80 to 85 grams. I'm not precise, but I try to keep it in that range. And that way I get between 25 to 26 English muffins. So let me show you how I get that process done. And I spread some cornmeal on 2 parchment papers. You have to coat both sides of your English muffin with the cornmeal. And I have a 3rd parchment paper ready to go because I need 3. I take each piece and weigh. And then I proceed to form them into a tight little ball. Now you have to be fairly quick because if your dough warms up too much, it starts to get pretty sticky. And I drop them in the cornmeal just on the first side because I don't want to get cornmeal all over my hands and then all inside of my English muffin when I'm rolling them. So then I just proceed to do that 25 more times. Now that they're all rolled out, I just flip them around to get cornmeal on all sides. The cornmeal that I have is this. I get it on Amazon. I'll link everything I use in the description below. I always have a little rogue one. It becomes my tester. They always taste the same, but I still need to have a test. Now let's cover these up for a couple of hours. Once you've rolled out all your English muffins, you're going to let them rise. I find for my best results at the temperature of my kitchen is somewhere between 1.5 to 2 hours. That gets me the fluffiest and the nicest looking English muffins. It's time to cook the English muffins. So just so you know, there's different ways to cook these. You can either stand and cook them on your stovetop one by one, or you can do it a whole lot easier, in my opinion, and put them in the oven. I'll show you both ways just so you know, and you can choose whatever you want, but I will choose the oven over standing over a stovetop for 4 minutes per side per English muffin any day. But I will first, for wanting to be flexible and showing you different options, show you both. So let's get these in the oven. The first secret to cooking these English muffins is I preheat my pans now. I didn't always do it, but I do now because I find that it helps to get them nice and golden. And when cooking them in the oven, you'll see how I do it. I put 2 pans, one on top of the other, and I have stainless steel rings, which I put them inside. This helps to sit the second cookie sheet on top, helps them from not getting too big, too tall, and keeps them inside those rings. So you're going to see as I go through the process on how I do it. I always butter my rings, although I don't find that I've never noticed that they stick, but I just want to make sure that they don't. So I start by buttering these rings really quick, nothing fussy, because it doesn't really stick. I really like these rings. I'll link them in the description below. I find they're really sturdy, and I think they're a 4-inch ring. So this is my hot pan. I put my parchments. I can fit 11 rings, and then I just put the English muffins right inside. Place on top. Take my second cookie sheet, hot cookie sheet, and lay it right on top. And then I pop these in the oven. And now we time these for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. This is the perfect temperature that I find for my oven for my English muffins. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how I do these on the stovetop. So I take out my cast iron pan, put a little bit of oil in the bottom. And I don't mean oil, I use like a cooking spray, like an avocado cooking spray, just to put a little bit of grease in the bottom of the pan. You don't want too much. to make your English muffins kind of greasy. So once your pan is nice and hot, you're just going to drop your English muffins right inside. You let them go for about 4 minutes per side, and then the recommendation is to put them back in the oven to make sure that they're well cooked throughout. So this is why I find like I can only really fit 5. So if I make a triple batch of, and I have about 25 English muffins, that means I'm going to do quite a few batches of these where I have to watch them, time them, whereas I can just throw them in the oven for 30 minutes and do something else at the same time. So this is why I much prefer doing them in the oven. Not yet. I don't think my pan was hot enough because it took a little bit more than 4 minutes. But I'm going to lower it now so they don't burn. What you'll notice as well when cooking them in the pan is that they're going to get a little fluffier than the ones that are in the oven, just because I don't have that pan on top. I don't mind. You'll see that they'll look different. I'll show you a comparison when they're all done with the ones from the oven. So these are coming along quite well. I think they're pretty much done. We've got a nice golden side, and so I would say these are pretty much done. Usually you should put them in the oven for a couple minutes just to let them finish off. So I'll throw them in the oven with my other ones. Just for about 5 minutes. I want to show you the difference now between, these are the pan ones, these 5 here. So look at these, compared to, these are the ones I just pulled from the oven. So that's the difference between pan frying them and putting them in the oven. You can maybe put a weight on them and they wouldn't come out as fluffy, or you may just like them fluffy like that. So that's the difference. One more fun fact about English muffins. I had no idea. I don't know if you knew this. I only found out about this when I started looking into making my own English muffins. So technically an English muffin, you're not supposed to take a knife to cut through it because it removes all like the crevices and inside the English muffin that make them so appealing. So you're basically only supposed to take your fork, and this is my test one, right? So I get to eat this one. And just pierce holes along the edge like this. And then you just break it apart. And that way you get to see all the lovely crevices inside of your English muffin. And this one is still steaming because it hasn't been out of the oven for that long. You have to try sourdough. They really have such a unique flavor to them. And it's not like overpoweringly sour. And I hope I'm not making it out to be that way, but it just has this subtle, tangy flavor to it. And you slather this with butter. It's like next level English muffin. You'll never want to eat store-bought again. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy my content. If you do, give it a big thumbs up. Don't be shy. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to check back again soon to see what other content I will have coming out. You don't want to put too much, and cover it for 30 minutes just because I don't want it to dry. 26 English muffins. So let me the deliciousness. Oh. If you do give it a big thumbs up, don't be shy. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to check back again soon to see what other content I will have coming out.